welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for watching, liking, subscribing. Really appreciate it. And thanks also for the comments you guys leave below. Appreciate those as well, and we'll try and answer them as best we can. What we're going to do today is we're going to upgrade the brakes on my 2021 Royal Enfield Continental GT 650. Now this upgrade applies to both the Continental GT or the Interceptor. One of the weak spots on these bikes has always sort of been the brakes and the braking system. People complain the rear brake's kind of wooden, you don't feel a lot, and the front brake is a little bit sort of mushy, or not mushy, but just doesn't grip as well as it should. The problem is, or the thing is, that these bikes from the factory come with organic pads, front and rear. Now your organic pads are a softer compound, so you can grab a big mitt full of brakes. You can grab a big mitt full of brakes, and it'll slow you down. It'll stop you, no problem. But it doesn't have the bite that a lot of riders want. What you want, and if you've got that good solid bite, then you can modulate your braking and stop in a shorter distance, I would hope. So what I'm going to do on this bike is I'm going to upgrade the front to a double H, EBC double H pad. These are a fully sintered pad. Now these are the grippiest of the pads in the three pads. Basically they've got the organic pads, which are a softer compound, the V pads, which I'm going to install on the rear, which are the medium ones. They're sort of semi-sintered, and then the sintered pads on the front. My reason for that is on the front end, you've got more feeling in your hand, so you're going to get feedback from your brakes, so you're able to back off the brakes or modulate them more. With them being a grippier pad, that should give us, like say, more braking and a better feel to the lever, and hopefully result in better braking. On the rear, I'm going to install these V pads. Now these are sort of a cross, they're in the middle between the organic pads and the sintered pads. And my reasoning for that is, on the rear, with you're just using your boot, of course, your foot, you don't get feedback, or you can't appreciate the feedback with your foot as much as you can with your hand. So if you're riding along dragging your brake, for instance, you're probably going to wear out your rotor quicker or warp your rotor, overheat it. So with going with the semi-sintered pads, it's a good compromise between the softer pads and the harder pads. So hopefully that'll give us increased braking in the rear as well. So all in all, I'm hoping that this upgrade is going to result in better braking for the bike all around. First things first, let's get started. It takes a 13mm ratchet, or socket, sorry, to remove the front caliper. So we'll get on that. Okay. 13mm. Guys off. Also these ABS line sensor wire should just pop out of here. Yeah, just see if I can get this. There we go. Head off of there. So the caliper is loose. What I'm going to do is just take it back off the. So there you can see the pads that are in there right now. Now what I'm going to do is just clean these up a bit with some brake cleaner. It's going to get all over the place. Clean off some of the brake dust. Another thing, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a long screwdriver and just gently pry the pads back a bit. What this will do is put the pistons back into the calipers. So because your new pads are going to be thicker than your old pads, Just want to force these back gently, like I say. Okay. All right. Now we just have to take this clip right here, pop out the clip. Alright, so pin, push that down. There we go. You see there's a bushing on the pin, which will keep it sort of snug in the caliper. Pop them out, like so. Set that aside. And the pads will just lift out, like so. So you can see here they are a genuine Brembo pad, but again, they're the organic pads. They work perfectly fine, but I'll probably keep them for a spare if I ever actually need them. But so, anyways, we have the caliper, 2 pistons, and it's a floating caliper. As you can see here, this will come in and out. So that the caliper gets centered, pad on each side, just the 2 pots on the one side though. So just going to wipe it down a bit, get rid of some of the dust and the crap on it, and then we'll get our other pads ready to put on. FA209/2HH. Those are the pads. Alright, so our 2 new pads. Just slide in. Make sure that the, as you can see here, this end, make sure that it goes up into the end here. So that goes there. Again, this one slots in like so. Now we'll get our pin. Sorry, this way. Pin goes through. Get that flush. Hopefully that's okay. So I had to take I used the back side of a bit, and just to drive this pin in just a bit. Now the holes are there. Slot the pin in, and that's all it takes. There you go. Now, again, ensure that the pads are separated like so, and place it back over top of your disc. Like so. Now with putting pushing the pads apart, when your first couple squeezes on the lever will seem sort of soft until fluid comes down and pushes your pads out, and your brakes center themselves again. Now torque on this is 45 Newton meters or 33 foot-pounds. install the ABS wire. Okay, and now we'll move on to the rear. Alright, so on the rear, what we do is take out the pins. You don't have to remove the caliper from the rear to change the pads, which is a nice thing. So 2 pins out. I'm gonna, hopefully this guy just comes straight out. Or does he go this way? No, he goes in, sorry. Push the pin through. Wasn't sure. Pin just slides out like so. There's the one rear pad. Now the other one, I'm going to leave that pad in for a second. And I'll show you what I'm going to do here. Now what I'm going to do here in order to push the piston in a bit is leave the one pad in and then just large screwdriver again, slide it in and just give it a bit of a push just to sort of hopefully push the piston back into, and you don't have to do it much, just a titch. Okay, so there's that. So the piston's been pushed back into the caliper, allowing room for the new pads. So slide the pin out. This pad will just come out like so. And we'll open up our new pads. Okay. Now on this one, I noticed they've got these clips on the pads, so I'm going to reuse these clips and install them on the EBC pads. They should just pop. Thinking that these are just sort of a anti-rattle clip. Okay, that one's there. Again. Without bending it, just slide it right off like so. Doesn't really want to stay on there too well, so I'm going to just bend it down a bit. So. Alright, so got the clips on the back here. Again, I'm going to just sort of get this guy up here and make sure, there you go, it clips in at the very top here there. So you want to make sure that the pad is in at the top on the inside of the caliper. And it lifts up and you hear a little bit of a click. Slide the pin in. Come over to the outer pad. So I'm just going to pry that piston back a bit. again at the front to make sure it's up. You'll hear it click there. And pin goes in. Now we'll reinstall the clips. Two. All done. There we go. All right, so there you have it. That's the upgrade of the brakes on the Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 or the Interceptor 650. As I said, be careful on the brakes to begin with. Just take it easy once you've done this. Allow the brakes to bed in properly. Use a bit of braking power to start with. Just don't go too crazy on the brakes until they're probably bedded in. A few rides under your belt, and you should notice a huge difference apparently in braking. So yeah, that's it. Easy peasy. Thanks again for watching, guys. Give us a thumbs up if you like the content. If there's anything else you want to see, leave a comment down below. We've got a couple other videos in mind, but we've done a lot of stuff on the Enfield, so it's getting kind of difficult to think of things to do. But if you've got any ideas, leave a comment down below. Really appreciate your watching, subscribing, liking, and yeah, keep the rubber side down, and we'll talk to you soon.